level, that's all. Okay, you'll.
So I need to reduce.
Yeah. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain. Voices are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of morning fills the air, guiding my journey home. Where is the path beyond the forest? Where is the song I always knew? I remember it just around the bend. In the village, the music never ends. Is it possible to get any hot water? Any chance of tea? My voice is froggy, so. And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light. Okay, first thing, all united. Second thing, the solstice carol. I gotta fix my music too. I don't know how this is not working. On the screen. Well, don't sing then. Don't do anything. Okay, now I got my. Okay, thank you. There. Okay. Solstice Carol, once more the literal year. Pretty sure. And Shnip Diwali, and then Shabe Yalma. Minuit, Peruvian, Bolivian. Yema Jai. All three go right here. All three go right here. Leave it. do it, I'll just say something. And Drew, I mentioned that call to worship in the sing-song aspect. So if it says, did we say something? No, we did. Yes, that's good. I have some words. Yes. Well, it's going to essentially be about the challenge. I'm saying the challenge is similar to our three phases. And for me today, it means the earth is the best. Sailing the fire, blah, blah, blah. I mean,
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another wonderful Sunday here at First Unitarian Society. A little different today, but difference can be good. I'm an example of that. Welcome to First Unitarian Society, where independent thinkers gather in a safe, nurturing environment to explore issues with social, spiritual, and ethical significance as we try to make a difference in this world. I'm Steve Goldberg, a very proud and enormously lovable member of this congregation. Special welcome to any guests, visitors, or newcomers. I think you'll find that this is a special place if you've never been here before. And we'll be offering a guided tour after the service. If you'd like to learn more about our special buildings, just gather over here by the windows and we'll take good care of you. Speaking of taking care of each other, this would be a perfect time, especially since we've got a lot of music planned for today, to silence those pesky electronic devices that you just will not need during the service. Instead, you'll be sitting back or leaning forward to enjoy today's service, which I know will touch your heart, stir your spirit, and trigger one or two new thoughts. A special thank you to the volunteers who are making this service run very smoothly. On sound, we've got Justin Woodward to thank. Ann Smiley is our lay minister. Katie Beam, Joyce Carey, and Claire Box have been our greeters. Our ushers are Gal Bliss and Jane Nelson Warrow. Biss Nitschke is the one we want to thank for the coffee and hospitality. Mary Bergen is staffing the welcome table, and John Powell is conducting our tour. Before I hand the microphone over to our music director, I want to make two real quick announcements. And that is that we want you to save the date of February 14. That happens to be a special date on everybody's calendar anyway. But save that date because it's going to be our Valentine's soiree here, a jazz concert and an awfully good social interaction opportunity on February 14 right here at FUS. And a special announcement on our Close the Gap campaign. We started with a gap of $140,000 in the operating budget of FUS. Your generosity has closed that gap, and we thought that the remaining gap was $53,000, but a $25,000 pledge came in at the last minute, just a day or two ago, and now our gap, which started at $140,000, is only $28,000. So thanks for your generosity. And speaking of things to be grateful for, here is Drew Collins, our music director.
Thank you, Steve. So today's offering, we will not pass a basket. They are glass donation jars that are just inside the doors, all the doors. Thank you, Gail, is proudly displaying one. So if you will, as you're listening, each song that you like, just increase the dollar amount in your mind, and then that'll be what you can donate on your way out. That will be great. The donations today will go, and it's on the back of your order of service, to eviction prevention in Dane County. So it's a very important collection today. Christmas Eve, we have 4 services. Please check our website for the schedule. I wanted to mention that we have an anybody choir, otherwise known as an anybody and everybody choir, also known as if you're anybody, you're in this choir. And it's going to meet in the music rehearsal room at 3:15 on Christmas Eve day. All are welcome. You get music when you show up. We'll rehearse for an hour, jam in the service, and we're done. Music will be provided. Wear what you would be wearing if you weren't singing in the anybody choir. No special attire needed. Clothes are required. That's it. CDs and books of Jim Scott will be available out in the Commons after the service. And please do avail yourself of the opportunity to buy a Jim Scott songbook from Jim Scott. For those of you who aren't familiar with Jim Scott, he's responsible for a number of our most popular hymns in both our gray and teal hymnals. And he is a Unitarian Universalist songwriter and singer, and he travels the world and elsewhere to deliver our message of hope and all of our 7 principles. Today, he's developed a show just for us. This is the official world premiere. They've done a couple of run-ups, so they're ready to go. We've got projections. Hopefully, you'll be able to see if the sun cooperates, and some great music. So will you please welcome Jim Scott and friends.
Thank you. I'm delighted to visit again, and I brought one of the great musicians, the greatest musicians I know on the percussion orchestra here, David Stocker, playing all these things that you'll see, and more than what you can see right now. And one of the greatest violinists I know, who happens to be my daughter, Louisa Scott. We welcome you to this service. It is the world premiere of our putting this multimedia show together. But first, we'd like to light the chalice. Our chalice is a symbol of our free faith, we say, our free search for faith, we say, our free lack of faith, some have put it, and it is symbolic of a great many things. On another Sunday, I can promise you it'll have a different connotation. But for me, today, it means the earth is a being. The earth is a vessel sailing on with a fire in its heart. The inside of the earth, someone told me, I believe it was on NPR, is virtually as hot as the sun. Now, if it's that hot on the inside, where are the flames on the outside? Well, we must be them. We are that energy force of earth.
burning, oxidizing, green and blue and white when you see us from out in space down here on the ground, fashioning from the earth a whole spectrum of color, providing this mysterious, mystical balance of peace and health and justice that we might call spirit. And we look forward to sharing a lot of spirit with you today. There's many invitations for you to join in. Lyrics will be projected up there for you to mumble along with Jim at any point you would like to. Humans have observed the winter solstice as early as the Neolithic period. That means 12,000 years ago. The last part of the Stone Age, beginning about 1020 BC, we find ancient pagan solstice rituals nearly as old as the beginning of recorded human history. Neolithic monuments, Maeshowe in Scotland, Stonehenge in England, were early measurements of time. We measured time by the sun. The sun told us the time of day and told us the arrival of the seasons, long nights, short days, the winter solstice. The Roman festival of Saturnalia was a celebration. In midwinter, it would be a big party. Roles were reversed. Servants got to rule for a day. The Norse celebration of Yule centered around fire and burning the Yule log. And Yule eventually was conflated with Christmas, particularly in Scandinavia. Celebrations were adapted to make Christmas in this season. Holly and ivy, greenery such as mistletoe. In pre-Christian times, mistletoe was to ward off evil spirits. But it's also to celebrate new growth. And Christians wanted to keep that greenery. The prickly holly leaves come to represent the crown of thorns that Jesus wore, and the berries are drops of blood that were shed. Yikes. In Scandinavia, it's known as the Christ thorn. I'm not loud enough? I can't get any closer than I am. Should we turn it up? He says I'm good. So here's a song of mine that is it's a song of mine, but I tried to make it sound a bit medieval. Ring the bells of solstice, joyful songs and chanting. Cast a circle, bring the seed we bless for the springtime planting. From the woods resplendent, all the boughs be taken. From resounding call to the unconquered sun awaken. Neath the snowy silence, all rebirth is now begotten. Morning born from darkness, deep in earth from times forgotten. Joyous new beginnings, winter's dark attending. Life in spiral dances, fun from endings never ending. We had two more pictures of lyrics there. We're going to jump right by those and go to the cornucopia picture. Harvest, the result of our year's work, goes with the pagan end of the year, or maybe it's the other way. Pagan end of the year goes with the harvest, and our year's work, Samhain, our Halloween. Again, the Christians adapted a seasonal celebration that had existed for a long time, All Hallows Day. And our American Thanksgiving comes to dominate the season too. But it's the end of the year in the pre-Christian calendar, the end of the year and the beginning of the next. John Greenleaf Whittier wrote these words for me to set to music. Excuse me if I just take another. I have got some frog that decided to lurk in my throat. Once more the liberal year laughs out, o'er richer stores than gems or gold. Once more with harvest harvest song and shout is nature's bloodless triumph told. Oh, favors every year made new. You can sing too. Oh, blessings with the sunshine sent. A bounty overruns our due. The fullness shapes our discontent. Now let these altars wreathed with flowers and plied with fruits awake again. Thanksgiving for the golden hours, the early and the latter sun. Once more the liberal year laughs out, or richer stores than gems or gold. Once more with harvest song and shout is nature's bloodless triumph told. Diwali is the Hindu festival of lights celebrated between mid-October and mid-November. What did I say? End of October and mid-November. Diwali symbolizes the spiritual victory of light over darkness, of knowledge over ignorance. So it's a harvest festival more than the end of the year festival, largely associated with Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity. I got so many pieces of paper. Stories of children destined for greatness and divinity, though, where elders or the royalty go searching for a heavenly sign to a child born of poor surroundings that they might expect to be a savior. Zoroaster, nearly 5,000 years ago, 4,000 something, in Persia, now Iran. Dates of Zoroaster's birth are not exactly known. Zoroaster, though, foreshadows so many Jewish, Christian, Muslim, the sons and daughters of Abraham, so many customs that we follow. Followers of Zarathustra, or Zoroaster, celebrate Shabe Yalda on the longest night of the year. It's followed 40 days later with the fire festival of Sade. I do not have a capo to go on. I don't know what to do. I can't play the song. I'm missing something, excuse me. Can we all discuss something spiritual for just a second? This would be a great time to turn and greet your neighbors.
Usually have one, but I don't think it's hard.
I'm glad we can be a little informal. This is not the church with the incense and the Ashabi Alda song. Let's try that. Mondi bara munyadigar, tadudunim kahit shabi, tahubunim kahit shabi, nistahamish mundigar, nistahamish. Try the whole thing.
So nice. Your voices sound beautiful.
Nanabuluku, Yoruba creator god, it's written small, is a primary deity of the Orishas. Nanabuluku gives us long nights in winter for rest. West African village song about the night, the long night. Night can be dangerous when you're surrounded by wild animals, but darkness is a safe time for the animals. Minuit, midnight in French, gets an extra syllable in this African pronunciation. Minuit, somos minuit. Minuit, somos minuit. Can you sing it? Minuit, somos minuit. Midnight, minuit, samuse, midnight amuses itself. That's all it says. Nothing to worry about. Minuit, samuse, minuit. say If all that is too complicated, you can just be the village background chorus and sing this. Hala hala ha, hala hala ha, hala hala ha. Keep that going. Minuit, summer's minuit, summer's minuit. Night has come, I hear music, and I keep on singing. Midnight has come, I hear music, and I keep on singing. Night has come, I hear music. Hala hala, minuit, summer's minuit. Minuit, summer's minuit. Summer's minuit. Summer's minuit. Here's some examples of sun festivals around the world. The sun god Inti Raymi in Peru is a winter celebration, a winter solstice celebration, but it's in June because it's the southern hemisphere. This Incan celebration of Inti Raymi has become popular again and celebrated by many people in Peru, Bolivia, in the Andes. Here's a little Andean Peruvian style song. Turn the page. In Brazil, Yamaya, another Yoruba goddess, has gone with the African diaspora, gone to so many places. She is Iemanjá in Brazil. She's also the goddess of the moon, but she is the goddess of the waters. She's asked to give her blessing to the fishing boats. David's got a beautiful instrument here from the Yoruba. Well, give us that first.
The blessing for the water.
A real animal lived in there.
had to do that.
Here's you.
I think our ancestors had funk, right?
Yeah.
Berimbau.
Around the longest night of the year, celebrations of light or fire and calling back the sun thread through every religion of the world. Here's a song to an ancient melody, my words. Light of our hearts, fires burning bright. We dream of the spring this winter's night. Try that. Light of our hearts, fires burning bright. We dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered friends in reverence here, we celebrate the longest night. Gathered here in reverence here, we celebrate the longest night. So this turns into a round. Ha ha ha. Each line can be sung with the other. From dark to light, sky of our hearts, fires burning bright. We dream of the spring this winter's night. Surely the earth is turning from dark to light. Gathered here in reverence here, we celebrate the long. Keep singing the last line. Gathered friends in reverence here, we celebrate the longest. One more time. Gathered friends in reverence here, we celebrate the longest night. The Chinese New Year, Gongxi, she's gonna shoot me. Louise is a Chinese scholar. The Chinese New Year, and celebrates the arrival of winter, is the most festive time in China. Huge celebrations, dragons, fireworks, and feasts.
滔滔的笑声，每个人的嘴里简单一句话，这是恭喜恭喜恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！滔滔的笑声，每个人的嘴里简单一句话，这是恭喜恭喜恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！恭喜恭喜恭喜你呀！恭喜恭喜恭喜你！
Fire figures into celebrations for pagan to Zoroastrian to Hindu to Jewish. Before we had electric lights in this last century or so, fire was light. Fire was energy. We don't go around with a lot of exposed flame in our typical environment now. Energy is more mysterious. It just comes from the wall. But fire has been a constant companion in human history. Figures into celebrations everywhere. Festivals of light. Hanukkah, the Jewish celebration of light. The miracle of the oil that lasted for 8 days. Someone came up to me last night and said, you know, that's not true. There was no oil. Oh, okay. Hanukkah is celebrated for 8 days, and 8 candles are lit on the menorah. There's one for each day, and then there's an extra one, 9 candles, that lights the others, but 8 candles for the 8 days. Here's a Ladino, Spanish, Jewish children's song from way back, where kids learn to count the candles. Hanukkah linda para aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda para aquí, 8 candelas para mí. 1 candelicas, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelicas para mí. Hanukkah linda para aquí, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah linda para aquí, 8 candelicas para mí. 8 candelicas, 2 candelicas, 3 candelicas, 4 candelicas, 5 candelicas, 6 candelicas, 7 candelicas, 8 candelas para mí. Hanukkah is celebrated with fun and dreidels and parties, but it commemorates something very serious, the Maccabean revolt against the Seleucid Empire, where Jews regained control of Jerusalem, and it's about the dedication of the Second Temple. There's a whole lot of history there that there will be another sermon. It's known, though, as a festival of lights. Peter Yarrow's great song warns us not to lose that idealism. There's a lot more verses. I'm going to just sing you one verse and get ready for the chorus. Light one candle for the Maccabee children with thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. And light one candle for the terrible sacrifice, justice and freedom to men. And light one candle for the wisdom to know that the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Sing it again. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Let it shine through our love and our tears. How about Santa Lucia, St. Lucy's Day in Scandinavia, maybe in Wisconsin? Girls dress up in white gowns and wear wreaths of candles on their heads to celebrate that legend that around 300 AD, Lucia brought food to the Christians hiding in the catacombs. She used candles on her head, leaving her hands free to carry food. Her feast day is now on the solstice. She died on December 13th, which was the solstice in the Julian calendar, before we all got the same calendar. Then there's celebrations in Italy. Gondoliers will sing of Santa Lucia, boatmen in Venice, did I say, and in Hungary and Croatia. There's the island of Santa Lucia in the Caribbean and Central America. Also, Santa Lucia has gone all these places. We've made a little mistake with the slides here. I've cued our slide master over there. 2 lines of the first slide, 2 lines on the next slide. We got to jump back to the first slide again. Sorry, we messed up the words. Christmas is an immigrant story. Joseph and Mary have to travel a long way to give birth in a country where they are discriminated against. Hanukkah marks the end of a long journey for the Israelites. So we come to this Christmas season in the midst of news every day of the mistreatment of refugees, the vilification of immigrants, the separation of a child from parents. It's tests to our humanity and morality, for we are all transient in so many ways. Who has a claim to ownership of this earth? The water, the soil, the air. Who deserves freedom and security? Who has the right to deny it to others? We are but immigrants, refugees from ports unknown, seeds we sow with dreams and hope will not ever be our own. Our children's paths, not ours, but adventures theirs alone. We are wanderers and seekers for the passage safely home. Of salt and water born, of one ocean we are made, gifts of love from fertile soil, so is life's foundation laid. Find rest and refuge here, though our wandering never done. May this haven bless all journeys. Welcome, traveler, we are one. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. For those yearning to breathe free, refuse of your teeming shore. Send the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door. That's my rather new song. Here are 3 takes on Christmas in America. The well-known Huron carol begins in the dark of wintertime. It's a beautiful song, but it has become a controversial issue as it was written by Europeans as part of converting native people to Christianity. But that didn't prevent them from being forcibly removed from their land. It's not a happy story. But the song is reborn, I think, with these words that I found by Dana Lynn Seaborn that tell of an indigenous mythology. There we go. We gather at midwinter dark to share this hallowed light. Within the longhouse warm and dry, beseeching song, it fills the night that lingers long. Here is our sacred home, 'neath heaven's dome, and shining stars proclaim the light. Sky woman came down from above and found no place to stand. Then Toad put mud on Turtle's back, and that became the land. Sky woman died in giving birth, her holy body fed the earth. Here is our sacred home, 'neath heaven's dome, then shining stars proclaim the light. African American perspective on this season of generosity and peace cannot transcend or avoid the context of racism and inequality that still persists in this free country we want to believe in. I will share with you, I am Assistant Secretary of the NAACP in Worcester, Massachusetts. A friend said, you know, I live in and have faith in a country that doesn't exist yet. That faith is an inspiration. I can get into those gospel stories of a poor child with great promise. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching in silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens they shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. That Jesus Christ is born. Children, go where I send thee. How will I send thee? I'm gonna send thee one by one, one for the little bitty baby who was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How will I send thee? I'm gonna send thee two by two, two for Joseph and Mary, one for the little bitty baby who was born in Bethlehem. Three by three. Children, go where I send thee. How will I send thee? I'm gonna send thee three by three, three for the Hebrew children, two for Joseph and Mary, one for the little bitty baby who was born in Bethlehem. Now this song could go on a long time. Let's jump to 6. Children, go where I send thee. How will I send thee? I'm gonna send thee 6 by 6. 6 for the 6 that never got fixed. 5 for the small preachers. 4 for the 4 knocking at the door. 3 for the Hebrew children. 2 for Joseph and Mary. Was one little bitty baby was born in Bethlehem. Children, go where I send thee. How will I send thee? I'm gonna send thee 10 by 10. 10 for the 10 commandments. 9 for the dressed so fine. 8 for the 8 that stood at the gate. 7 for the 7 that never got to heaven. 6 for the 6 that never got fixed. 4 for the gospel preachers. 4 for the 4 knocking at the door. 3 for the Hebrew children. other beings view this Jesus story. I like this perspective. Jesus, our brother. Jesus, our brother. Excuse me if I do that once more. Something just comes down there and the high notes go away. They're there in spirit. 1, 2, 3. Jesus, our brother, kind and good, was humbly born in the stable rude as the friendly beasts around him stood. Jesus, our brother, kind and good. I said the donkey, shaggy and brown, I carried his mother uphill and down. I carried her safely to Bethlehem town. I said the donkey, shaggy and brown. I said the cow, all white and red, I gave him my manger for his bed. I gave him hay to pillow his head. I said the donkey, the cow, it's one of those animals. I said the sheep, all with curly horn, I gave him my wool for his blanket warm. He wore my coat on Christmas morn. I said the with curly horn. I said the dove from the rafters high, I cooed him to sleep that he should not cry. We cooed him to sleep, my love and I said the dove from the rafters high. Oh, then all the beasts by some good spell in the stable dark were glad to tell of the gifts they gave Emmanuel. The gifts that they gave Emmanuel. We can't have a complete Christmas without Saint Nicholas. He was a monk in the 3rd century in what is now Turkey. Legends tell of him saving 3 young girls from slavery by giving their father money for a dowry. He used his inheritance, he came from a rich family, to give money to everybody. He gave it all away. For these girls, the father of these girls, he dropped the money down the chimney to be anonymous. Legend has it, it landed in a stocking hanging to dry. He was a devout Christian. He became a monk and then was the bishop of Myra. But then centuries of a slow transformation. Saint Nick goes to Europe and Scandinavia. Now he rides a sleigh pulled by reindeer to deliver presents. Kris Kringle and Saint Nicholas somehow get conflated in France. He is Père Noël. In Austria, Santa and Krampus work together. Kind of good cop, bad cop thing that dates way back to pre-Christian times. Santa Claus became popular, though, in America It was here already. Dutch immigrants had brought it, but the whole country didn't really celebrate Saint Nick until 1823. In a magazine came the famous "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." Now Saint Nick has 8 reindeer. They have names, and they fly. And Santa comes down the chimney himself. No mean feat for a hefty guy. Santa now lives at the North Pole. The Nast publications in the 1800s gave us the first red-suited Santa, the way we really know him. He smoked a pipe. And for a century, Coca-Cola has set Santa's image and his appearance as we now know him. You just have to pardon us. Better not watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He is. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's on Instagram and Facebook. He's checking it twice. He's gonna see who's naughty and nice. He is. Santa Claus is watching you. Look out. Santa Claus is spying on you. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. That's creepy. He knows when you're awake. Stay sleepy. He knows if you've been bad or good. So you better be good for goodness sake. Well, you better watch out. You better not cry. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He is. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Whatever is going on in the world, the birth of a child in the dark of winter is something we can all get excited about. It gives us faith in the world and faith in the future, makes us feel like one big family. Any child. This is my song. It's in our teal hymn book, but don't look it up right now. Ancient story lived again, dark of longest night. Birth of innocence and hope kindles our delight. All celebrate So the Yoruba goddess has given us long nights for rest, and Inti Rami promises us the sun will come back. It's not that we doubt the sun will come back. It's a matter of when will it come back. Agriculture and all our finances depend on the sun coming back. So we celebrate, and at this time of year we give presents to each other, we get generous, we make donations. It works, you know. This season works on us to get us to loosen up a little bit and give some more away. A little final song. Well, we got the wrong key. Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace. May we take this Christmas solstice, Inti Rami, spirit, take it out in the world. Our time together comes to a close as we extinguish this chalice. Our time together comes to an end, and the service begins. Let us go in peace. Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 We've kept you overtime this morning, so we might play a little bit longer. We'll start the service on time with the second service and get everything in. Thank you for coming in. Join us for coffee hour.
Thank you, Jim, so much. Thank you, guys. Remember to thank them by donating to our eviction prevention program. The glass jars on your way out. Have money ready so that your neighbors don't get frustrated and give less as a result. All right. Thank you. Happy solstice. Merry Christmas. Joyeux Noël. And thank you, Jim.
For David and for Louisa, thank you.